Sorry. So I'm continuing with the first I had to meet me. Goodness gracious, my shirt is just reflecting like crazy. But I'm continuing with first I had to meet me, which is the book that I wrote. And so in this segment, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to be discussing trauma bonding as well as starting over. So for me, the two actually go hand in hand. And I didn't so much write a poem when it comes to trauma bonding, but I did write one when it comes to starting over. So that one is called Next Chapter. Starting over, embrace me like never before. First step, looking at my past and closing all doors. No more fantasizing of what could have been. If it was meant to be, it would have happened. Making excuses for all red flags, gave CPR trying to hold on to situations not meant to last. Too afraid to close the chapter, too afraid of what may come after. Finally, I found me, and let me tell you, that girl is bad. Showing myself the love I never had. The other times I thought it was love, but it was fake. Finally realizing real love was worth the wait. So, with that one, with that, just about embracing yourself and just, the whole start over and being able to be in that place where you feel like you can do it. So that came from just doing that, as I said. So with as far as what my experience, how it started was for me getting into, and I'm trying to be careful when I say this because I know we have a lot of mutual friends, okay? So I'm trying to say this in a way that won't be phone calls later, okay? So for me, what it was starting in a marriage and having to start over with the big D word, divorce. Having to go through that in a time where I never thought that I would. I guess I kind of could assume that I would. I should have known is more like it. I should have known that it would. But um, hold on, let me try to. But I guess it was a little bit of not so much being naive. It was so much of the situation that it came into it. So that's where that whole trauma thing came in because of what I went through and having to go through something where I was, hold on, let me add Tish to it, where I was in a situation that I had just went through having my place broke. Hey, it's
Can
working. I'm so excited.
you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, great. Yes.
Okay. So I was just introducing the topic of trauma bonding and the whole starting over and starting as far as with me, how the two went hand in hand, how I entered into a marriage because of what I went through before. So for me, it was I had my place broken into. And so I felt like I had no protection. I had
Mhm.
no way to, protect myself because I'd going through normal routine, get up to go to work, and as soon as I pulled out of my driveway, they were in my backyard, kicked in my door. My door stayed open the entire day until I get home like 7 o'clock at night. And
Wow.
just walking in and seeing everything just ransacked and just knowing that it's been open all day long, not knowing who's been through my house. So that was hard for me. And then going through that and going through a really bad breakup that I thought was going to, last forever. And then meeting someone that he was going through his own thing of just losing his mother and having his person that he was with not being supportive. So that bonded us together because we were both needing someone to lean on, which led to a marriage that shouldn't have happened, which led to me having to go through, I said the big D word, divorce, and
Right,
having to
right.
get here, having to come here and just start completely over where I like came with nothing And like I said, I know me and him have mutual friends, and you know how people run back and like to tell stuff. But, I had nothing, and he didn't let me have my stuff. So I'm
Hmm.
starting over in a new city, a new state. I moved like over 1,000 miles away, and it's like having to go back home, which wasn't home. My mom we didn't have a childhood home, but having to move in, and as an adult, like, oh, now I got to live with my
Right.
mother. Not that my mother's a bad person, but you just never
Right.
thought that would be my story of starting over.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's what I was just explaining that. So you could jump in. So as far
Yeah,
as that,
when you said the word divorce, in my head, I said discover. You know what I mean? Because when you're going through those stages in life, when you have to divorce something or go, change what you're going through, and a divorce is very hard, especially if it's not something you wanted. And
right?
you feel like when I got married, I'm married, this is for life. But a lot of times it doesn't work out like that. So you rediscover yourself because you was in this relationship, in this marriage for so long. Now you have to kind of like, okay, what do I do? How do I start over? And with
Yeah,
the trauma on top of that, just makes it even harder because you're dealing with the trauma, but you don't want people in the world to know your trauma. So you try
yeah,
to stay like almost put together in a sense when you really are broken. So I commend you. I'm so proud of you. I know this is out of your comfort zone because you got me out of my comfort zone.
yeah,
So I'm like, okay, but it has to be talked about. It's a lot of us that been through things, and we sit right beside other women and like, honey, I know how you feel. But it's so funny and it's so different how certain women deal with and handle things totally different than how I would have thought I could handle it. Some
yeah.
people look at me like, oh my God, you're so strong. I'm like, and I don't see that
I'm
at
one of
all.
those people that look at you like that, like, oh my gosh, really?
I don't. And I feel like I'm always to a point in my life when can people see that I'm really, crying on the inside, and I guess not because you always said that to me. I'm like, you have no clue. Like I prayed and I stressed and I prayed and I stressed before I even got to a certain event or a certain place, because I'm all balled up trying to figure out if people gonna look at me like they gonna know my pain or will they
Yeah,
see the bruises that has healed. But I get it. I so get it. The book also is like, you know what? If you can write this book and you can put yourself out there, anybody can do it.
yeah, and that, I mean, that's hard, like trying to put yourself and knowing people gonna be reading stuff and reading into
Right.
stuff. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
But no,
Right.
yeah, get as far as like discovering, because I did have to discover me because I spent the whole time in the marriage being the person that I was expected to be. So I couldn't be
Right.
myself. And then at
Right.
the same time, we were part of a church, which the church home was good. It's just the people in the church that was leading us was not leading us in a good thing. Where it's like, okay, you need to stay in this. This is a marriage. You're supposed to stay. But it's like, okay, but this is happening and this. And
Hmm.
being to where religion was used against me because if
Right.
I did something outside of what wasn't considered, Christian, then
Mhm.
it's like, oh, well, what would your church people think about you? And this is what he's telling me. Like, what would the church think about you wearing this? What would the church think about you listening to this or doing this? So then I had to be in a place where I'm like so quiet and to myself. Like, if I were to go out with people, then it was, oh, you never have time for me, you're going out. I'm like, I haven't went out in 6 months and we're going to Applebee's, like, and then we're
Right.
going to go to the mall. Like, I'm not partying. Like, that's all I'm doing. It's like,
Hmm.
well, I thought we were going to spend time together, but I told you this last week that they wanted to go out. Or
Right.
if, well, I'm at a church conference, like, I'm not I'm not
Right.
doing anything. But so to have that, and that kind of made me turn against the whole church thing because it's like that was used to make me stay in that place. So I didn't know who Zetra was. I was like, I don't know what I like to do. I know what
Hmm.
I like to do with my family, but I don't know
Right.
what I like to do on my own. So when I get here and move 1,000 miles away and starting over, like, I'm left a job that I was at for 10 years
Hmm.
and had all of this built up and all this
Hmm.
401k and PTO, all like everything built up. And I
Right.
get here and I get a job where I'm making $10 an hour. Like,
Right.
how am I supporting myself on $10? But
Hmm.
just having to do that whole, oh my God. And it was a lot of discover because even then I was
Hmm.
still trying to be, okay, well, now for the first time ever, I got to be a single mom. I don't know how to
Right.
be a single mom. I'm used to having a partner help me. So now I got to do it on my own. And it's like,
Well, you're doing
okay.
an outstanding job. Hats off to you because you're doing great. I know it's not easy, and I was married to both my kids' father, so I was in those marriages, but I raised my kids pretty much by myself because both of my husbands were kind of, they were abusive, and I had to deal with a lot of that too. So our marriage ended. One ended because of the abuse, and one was he was killed. So it happened to where I was forced in both situations to try to figure out, I'm raising two girls, and maybe I did stay too long in both of those situations because I did it twice. So it's almost
Yeah.
like I didn't take a break. I just went bam, bam, and maybe that's what I felt was my worth. Um, so I had a question asked to me, what was it about these people that you saw? And it was more so the question I had, how I answered it was, they didn't present that person first. People say you
Yeah.
get those red flags, well, they didn't present that immediately. I had already felt hell over, I'm all in love with you. I got to do anything for you. I'll buy you the moon, or so, and bam, overnight, you're just like, wait a minute, what happened? And when you brought up church, I can remember before I would go to church is when we fought.
Mm,
So then I realized I couldn't go to church. Because
right.
when I would get dressed, get ready, and he's there at the door ready to fight. And I'm like, I'm just going to church,
Yeah.
So, and I get everyone have their opinions about church. There's a lot of sin going on, a lot of evilness going on in churches. I get that. I totally get that. But I was there strictly for trying to find a place of comfort, because I was going through such, hardship at home. And he saw that made me happy. So he didn't
Right.
like that. And that's why I couldn't go. Whatever his opinion about church, that's his opinion. But he had a lot of control over me being able to go.
Yeah.
And so I stopped. Like you, I just said, you know what, I'm just not going to do this no more, whatever. And you almost kind of feel on edge now. If you think, we speak of, I feel like I'm a Christian. I feel like I love God. I feel like I feel like there's a God. I know if there wasn't a God, I could not be sitting here talking to you right now because I
Right.
should not be here in the medical sense. But it was something beyond the doctors. That's why I'm still here. So I kind of hold with that, and I don't push my religion on anyone either. But I want to go to your book though. For me, to how were you able to come out of your own way to put yourself out like that? You say I'm strong. You think I'm strong. I'm like, you
Yes.
got me on that one, sis, because
No.
I'm not
That's why
ready yet.
I had to dedicate that to you because you were like very instrumental in helping me and taking the time to read through it and like, oh, well, you should include more of this, or, you didn't give enough on this and give more examples. So that helped me a lot, but it was not something that I wanted to do. And Legacy City also was like, you need to put more out here. Like, you hold in a lot within yourself and you don't know who might need your story or who might need to hear something. And just, with us doing this live, you never know what people need to hear something. And it's like
Hmm.
you go through things and you kind of hold it in within yourself because you figure, you don't want people to know this is where I failed at. You don't want people to know
Right.
this is where I'm weak at. This is where I'm
Right.
not, not strong. This is where I cry about. Because, you give people like kind of that ammunition, and sometimes people will use that against you, but sometimes that'll help someone else. So
Hmm.
trying to get out
Right.
of my own way and I guess stop being selfish, and, and keeping my story to myself because you never know when that might be a turning point for someone else. Like I
Right.
wish I would have had someone tell me like, leave. It's okay to leave instead of
Right.
everyone saying you need to stay. God hates divorce. You'll go to hell. Like, I wish I would have
Right.
had say that to me like it's
Right.
okay. You made a
Right.
mistake. Move forward. But we didn't have that. Everyone's pushing, just what seems right, but it's like you're not living this every single day. So
Right. It's
that's
almost
what
like they was reading only one verse in the Bible, then it go down to the next paragraph and then say, because everything he say has a end this. It's almost like an antidote to the pill. I'm giving you this, but end this. Honor your
right.
mother and your father, but parents don't provoke your children. That I was raised under your mother and father, but I was grown before I heard the saying, don't provoke your children as parents. So I always felt like no matter what was going on, if you're my parent, I had to respect it. I had to, deal with it. I had to accept it. And that really had a lot to do with why I didn't feel like I had a voice, or I had the right to even have a feeling, because it's almost like when you're a kid, you don't have an opinion, you don't have a feeling, so you're not able to express it. So I felt like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep it to myself. And when you wrote the book, I'm watching you go through that process, and I know how hard it was for you, but you was at a point in your life where I'm not at yet, and that was, you already had it pretty much written and sitting in the archive somewhere. Like, put it out, put it out. Me, I can't put my words on paper. Like, I'm afraid to see it. And Legacy, speaking of Legacy, he has this thing about him where he will push you past where you want to go, almost in an aggressive kind of way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's almost like you get mad because you're pushing me, but once you get across that little threshold, you look back like, oh my God, I made it. I did it,
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that, because he's put me in positions where, we're going to happen. Not going to. Not gonna happen. I'm just like, oh my goodness, this guy got me doing this, So sometimes you do need the extra push. Same with John. John is another person. I told him I wanted this business. He was like, well, you're gonna get it. Then I get it, and it's like, so what you gonna do with it? You know what I mean? So to have support and have people behind you, I know what that feels like, because that's the only reason why you know me today. Is because John and Legacy. Both of them pushy guys.
Yeah,
That's
because it's
John
like
P. Baker and Cedric Bellamy Legacy. Pushy.
yeah, oh yeah, they are. Because it's like they see the finish line, and all we see is the obstacles. Like,
Right.
okay, but I got to do this. It's like, okay, but here's the finish line. It's like, I'm
Right.
not there yet. I don't see that yet.
Right. I definitely don't see the finish line. So, but yes, I'm proud of you. Like, I'm right behind you, sis. And, and you will be my inspiration for me to go ahead and do it. I've had people speak into my life about writing a book, but I just never acted on it, and mine will be a little bit more different, because I'm just going to talk about Tish, and what how I feel and what I take and how I see things. Everybody's not going to like it. It's almost kind of like my food. Everybody want it, but not everybody don't want it. So you just kind of like, if I'm not your cup of tea, I'm just not your cup of tea.
Exactly.
So move around.
So what made you start over? Because you left Alabama to come to Texas. So
Well, I
what
left
made
Georgia.
you?
Well, actually, I left Georgia because I was in the Army at the time. So I was still in the military, and my husband at the time was killed. So at that point, I knew that from that point on, now I'm like almost kind of like, okay, life is totally different. I wasn't going through the same thing. It was a lot of stuff going on, with that situation. And me going live and me keeping myself to myself is because if I speak on my marriages and what I went through, it's people that know them, know me, they know what happened, but ain't nobody gonna say nothing about it.
Right.
So if I start speaking on it, it's gonna ruffle some feathers, you know what I'm saying? So I just say, I've been through some things. I allow people to do some bad things to me. But when I got back from Iraq and all that stuff happened, I just came to a point in my life, because I tried to kill myself twice. No one knows it about me. I tried to kill myself twice because of all the stuff I've been through. And after those times was when I realized I have two daughters. They 6 years apart. One is 20 now, about to be 21. One is 14, about to be 15. And they've been there. They've been there with me doing all of this. And I'm like, they are going to be the ones that are going to be affected if I give up, or if I quit, if I just stop living. So I just put my all in my children. I did the best I can. Even being a broken woman, a broken mother, a broken sister, a broken wife, still trying to still maintain some type of civilness about me wasn't easy. John has always been in my life. I've known John over 20-some years. John was one of my supervisors when I was in the military. So he knew me more so better than anybody, because I worked for him. And a lot of the stuff I went through, he didn't even know, because you try to protect people that you care about. You don't want them to be involved in all that nonsense and stuff like that. So once everything was over and done, then I started expressing him like, I've been through this. I was left for dead. These things happen. I got pushed out of a moving car, just craziness. And why are you going through that? You don't have to go through that. And he was more so that friend, that backbone, and I've always been crazy about John, but he's always seen me as someone he cared about, like a friend. And that was really hard to accept because I love this man since I first met him, but I respect that he knew more than he saw the finish line, that part, the finish line. He knew I had a lot to go, a lot of growing to do. He knew that he didn't want to take advantage of that weakness. He didn't want to take advantage of my brokenness. You know what I'm saying? So, and I respect him for that more because he allowed me to heal from my past so he wouldn't be my past. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so that's where he falls in at, and that's why I'm here. And I'm just like, you know what? I packed up my stuff. I had one more military move. So it was a paid move. They came, pack the house, everything. And I told him I was going to be here. And, whatever month I told him I was going to be here, the truck driver drove my stuff from Georgia straight to Texas. It's all been going to storage. Oh. I had a year free of storage. So I was going to put all my stuff in storage. He drove my stuff straight to San Antonio the next day. I'm like, so John, like, your stuff is here. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not even there. So all my stuff is here. So it almost kind of, it forced that, I guess you got to go. Because if it would have been in storage for a year, they still would take it out of storage and move it wherever you want to go. Okay. He didn't allow me to make that decision because the truck driver took it straight to Texas. I said, well, here I come. And it wasn't easy because I've never been to Texas until I moved here. So it was a completely foreign place. The only person I didn't know was John, So, and the first thing he did was he took me to church, and that was a different kind of breath of fresh air because I'm like, oh, we're going to church. It ain't no drama. He wants to go. So that it put me right back in that place where I needed. I felt comfortable. I felt safe. And I felt okay to just be me. He's always allowed me to be myself. And it never seemed like when you've been in an abusive relationship, you can tell when a person is about to come at you. Yeah. And I never feel that with him. So, now I think he's more looking at me like, don't jump on me, I'm a firecracker. But I did. I packed up, me and my girls. We came, because I didn't have a job, didn't know anybody. And here I am. It's 2021. My business is doing pretty good. I'm married to the man of my dreams. My kids are still here. They doing what they doing. So and I met some good people. Can't complain.
You could say like you see that it was something that definitely benefits you, and you needed to do.
Right. I'm on a lot of groups. I see a lot of women say, where are the good men at in San Antonio? And I never can respond because I'm one of those few women that actually came to San Antonio, and I found what I was looking for. So I really can't respond or relate to them saying, oh, ain't no good men in San Antonio because I got mine from San Antonio. So I can't support him on that end.
The upper though, you came here knowing he was here. So that's a little, you'd have to come and try to find a guy.
Right. I knew he was here. I just had to get up because, I used to think that they're going to come knocking at your front door. Well, that's not true. If you don't move around what you desire and what you want, just not going to pop and appear. You got to go and work for it. So I got up, I made that move, and here I am. I stuck it out. It wasn't easy, but, it came with the ups and downs because he wasn't in a position where he was ready for that himself, and I respect that, but I wasn't going to give up because I knew this is where I was supposed to be. I knew it. I just knew it.
Did you ever can't do this, I want to leave here? Like, why did I move here?
Soon I don't get my way? No. I made a mistake now. I said I wanted Arby's, no.
Like, I don't get Arby's, I'll pack it up, I'm gone. Forget Texas.
You see, like right now, I don't know if you see what he just posted, but see, stuff like that is why I'm ready to go now. But yeah, I guess so. Uncle John said I'm a firecracker. I'm not a firecracker. I'm a dynamite. Okay. I mean, tomato, however you want to say it.
No, Legacy said you're spoiled.
Who? No. He possibly can't say no one's spoiled. Well,
Yeah.
we already know who's spoiled, right?
that is
part.
true.
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, yeah, I get that little itch where it's like, nope, I need to go. I need to get out of here. This is not working for me. I don't want this place anymore. So it's trying to get myself to stay planted because I'm just like, I'm ready to forget all of this. I'm gone. I'm done and move to somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, trying to get me planted here and stay here and try to see, okay, maybe this is where I'm supposed to be. Maybe I came here for a reason. But really, it's like because I didn't have that decision. I came here because trying to get out of a situation, and I didn't, have nobody around me there.
Right.
So really, I didn't have no one around me there. Like I had no family and friends, and then the people I thought was my family, I thought was my friends. When I finally decide, okay, I need to tell somebody what's going on, and I open up and tell somebody, first thing they said, well, you can't stay here. We can't have that mess here. So I'm like, I end up at a grocery store parking lot because I have nowhere else to go. And I'm calling my mom and she's 1,000 miles away. She's like, well, I can get you a hotel room for the night, but we're going to have to figure out something. And so it's like, when you thinking, okay, I'm finally going to be vulnerable. I'm finally going to tell people. And you have that. It's like, I thought you guys were my family. I thought that's so having to do that. And I came, like, the only choice was for me to come here because this is where my mother and my sister was. It's like, no, you're coming here. You need to come here. So then I get here and it's like, now I'm sharing a bedroom, one bedroom with my children and working, making only $10 an hour. I'm like, I'm never going to be able to move out of here. Like, I can't get out of it. Like, this,
right.
we're going to be stuck forever, like in this bedroom in my mom's house. But she's like, no, just it's fine. It's like your place. You're comfortable. I'm like, Mom, no, it's not. Like you got a living room, kitchen, one room. All my stuff has to fit in this one room. So just finally getting to it's like, okay, not feeling sorry for myself anymore. Like I can't feel sorry. People do this. You have to pick up. I got, now I got people watching me. I got kids watching me. I can't just stay down. Like, and I allowed myself to stay that way because, and still even accepting his phone calls and being put back into that place of, you messed up our family, you broke this up. And I'm just like, should I go back? That I had those thoughts at first, like, do I need to go back? Because I told myself, like, we're going to raise our kids together. Now my kids not going to have their dad and all of this. But then it's like, okay, but he got to the point, like I said, I got, be cautious. I know we got mutual friends and I know they like to tell him whatever, but getting to where he didn't want to give me anything. Like he wouldn't give me the rest of my things. All my sons, just everything got thrown in the trash. Wouldn't give me anything back. Wouldn't give me support to help me. Okay, I found a job. Can you help me pay the first, month of daycare? It's like, no, you don't want to go get the job. You figure out how to pay for it. So I'm just like, okay, just, so I'm like, you know what? I can't keep feeling sorry for myself. What happened, but I have to pick up from here. So I'm like, I gotta, work more. And then I was able to find a job where I was making more than I've ever made in my life. I was able to finally get to where I moved out on my own again. And it felt good. Like at first it's like, okay, I got a bed and that's it. Like I got a bed, a couch, but it was my bed, it was my couch and my place. Like, just doing that and, that whole starting over and just building everything up. It's like, okay, I'm doing it. Like I got this. And to the point where it's like when I finally got that call again from him, it's like, I don't need you. I really don't need you. Well, I'm gonna send you this. You don't have to send me nothing. Like,
I'm good.
Exactly. You want to talk to your kids, talk to your child. Don't talk to me. Can we just work? No. I already signed the papers. You're gonna get the court summons. They're gonna call to you. Like I'm not. So he said, I'm a runner. Yeah, I am. I'm very much a runner.
That's what I do. And that's funny because my mother said that about me. She said I'm a runner, and I always identified it as, that was her impression of what she saw me doing. Was if something was, when I left those two husbands, were trying to leave those husbands because I had to leave the situation, that for her was considered running. For me, I just felt, or dealing with stuff with family, I just walk away. I'm just done with it. For me, I felt like I was secure enough to say, you know what? I personally, mentally cannot deal with this anymore. So I'm out. So they
Yeah.
took it as running. I took it as standing up for myself, having a voice, having an opinion, speaking my truth. Even if my truth had to hurt you, it's still my truth. It's mine. You
Right.
know, and that's why I'm here today to say, you know, I've kept a lot to myself because it's almost like, well, if I say this, then this may hurt this person. But who was there when I'm bloody and flatlined? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Who was there when my kids was taken by the state for 4 days because I was unresponsive? You know, forget about it. You know, this is my truth. I'm here. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm happy now. And I know what it feels like when you feel like, did I make the wrong decision or should I go back? Because that breakthrough, you was going through that breakthrough and that comfort zone was being irritated. And that's why you almost felt like, am I supposed to be here? I'm leaving. This ain't worth it. That's because you're breaking through and you hitting that comfort zone. So your mind gonna tell you, oh, okay, there is no chaos. I'm not being abused. I don't have no confrontation, no that much friction going on. Things do pretty come easy. I'm doing good. I'm happy. One thing that happens that makes you think like, what am I doing? I made the wrong decision. That particular moment was you coming through another breakthrough. And it will
Right.
distract us and make us fall back and leave and run and hide. But we already have a purpose set out. We already put it on ourselves and say, we're going to do this because you already said you're going to write that book. And you did, and you put it out. You already said you're going to do that. You was coming through those breakthroughs during those times of uncomfortability because I'm uncomfortable doing this. So I don't want
Yeah.
to do this no more, you know. I don't like it here, you know. So, and that's because you know, we've been tested, you know, and we're going to continue to be tested, you know, no matter what I do. If I don't do anything else, I just thank God for allowing me the opportunity to be able to do what I love. You know, I never
Mhm.
set out when it came to my business. It was never about money. You know, it's
Right.
never about money for me. It's something that it gives me that's something that's the only thing I have. Can no one take it away from me? Anybody can go out here and cook and or write a book or sell purses or sell sunglasses. Anybody can do that. But I strictly just do what I love. That's
Yeah.
all I got. I can do hair and I can cook. And I can love
Yeah.
on
I
my
was like,
husband.
you do it
And I
all.
love my kids and I love the Lord.
Like you do it all. Like you need your
I
hair
stay
redone.
in my lane.
Like I can do
Right.
your hair.
You know,
Take in the oven. Do them both.
the 2021 BAPS is all me right here. I'm both a Halle Berry and the other girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Oh yeah.
doing
That was so funny. Because they had that whole combo thing. You get your hair done. You get a plate.
right. That's me and one. I'm BAPS over here.
That is true.
Yeah, so that and I get it, and that's what like he said, wasn't that's not considered running, that's being smart, you know. And I appreciate him saying that, but I was raised to say how I moved was running, as
Yeah.
and when I moved on in a different situation, you know, that was the first thing she'll tell my new situation. She gonna run, she not gonna stay, you know. So they was already waiting, like when's she gonna leave? Soon you mess up. As soon as, you know, I tell John all the time, the fact that I haven't ran, you know what I mean? I ain't went nowhere. I ain't
Yeah.
packed my bags and took no flight. I have not done it. So I stayed because I wanted to make sure I wasn't a runner. You know, I had
Right.
to identify what maybe what she said has some truth to it. You know, maybe I get frustrated. I'm like, you know, I do that. I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to do, you know, I do that. But I do that because I know it's going to take me further than where I need to be. Because if I'm doing what I already love, then it's extra drama on top of that. That's not for me. Because I've already
Right.
been through that. So I can identify that this is not the road I should be taking because I shouldn't be feeling like this, you know, if it's something that I'm doing because I love it. You know,
Right.
so
No, no. I definitely can relate to that. I think like different generations, their whole thing is you got to stick things out no matter what. You got to stay with this job to the end. You got to stay with this person to the end. And it's like
hmm
because they didn't have those options. So when you actually don't
Right.
stick to that, you say, you know what, this is not good for me, or this is not good enough for me. I deserve better than this. Then it's your running. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, it's just, you get smarter. You're not trying to spend your whole life in a place where it's not meant for you. So
Right.
that's, yeah, I get that because I get that from as far as like my grandmother, like, oh, you're not supposed to do this. You're not. I'm like, grandma, it's not the same. Like
Right.
you didn't have to go to school. You finished, through elementary, middle school. You didn't have to. You lived in a time where you had to have a husband to get things. Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
like that anymore. And trying to get her
Mm-hmm.
a whole different thing, trying to get her to understand that. I'm
Right.
like, I just know, like, let me do me. But like, I had my great grandmother where she like, girl, I'm proud of you. Go out there and do
Mm-hmm.
that. And she was raised in that same part, but she was like, I would have never had the courage to do as you do. I would have never
Mm-hmm.
had the courage to leave, to move. So she's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy for you. Let's do
Right.
this. So what you
Right.
need from me? Like, even when I'm like, with the whole trying to date, she's like, do you need me to come there? Do you need me to go? What? Ain't no guy hitting on you? Let me come down there. I'm gonna talk to them. Like, grandma, it's fine. It's okay. She's
Right.
like, because this, no, you a star, you sunshine. They ain't going. I'm like, okay.
Right.
So
Right.
like in just that different things of how
Mm-hmm.
people see that as. So yeah, it is being smart, but to them it's running.
Running. Right. Right. Right.
That's
It's crazy, but now we just do what we do best, and and try to be impactful to someone. I never want to be that person where, if I did something or made somebody feel some type of way, I never want to be that person to be that person because I've been hurt before. So, and
right.
I am a very, I don't want to use the word blunt, but I guess I'm going to use the word blunt. So, direct. My husband said dynamite, whatever. But for me, it's almost like if I sugarcoat it, then I'm not being 100. I'm not being honest. I don't have to be vulgar or disrespectful to say. And when you really hear me going off about something, it's because not because I'm mad. It's really
Hmm.
because you can hurt my feelings. You know what I'm saying? My feelings are hurt. I'm very sensitive. I may be, considered a hardcore woman or, tough woman, but I'm soft as tissue on the inside, because I love who I love and I love hard and I love a lot. So when someone kind of step in my little territory or kind of rub me the wrong way, my feelings are more hurt than anything. And some can identify with, oh, she mad or she pissed off, or no, you hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. Like my feelings, I am so hurt right now. And that just be where I'm at. And it's hard for me to come out of my feelings being hurt because now I'm blaming myself because I let myself open to allow someone to get in close enough to even hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? So now I'm
Yeah.
like, I did it again. And then it's like, no, each time that happened, it's just showing me that you're going to go through life. You're going to meet people. Not everybody's going to be the same, but you're still going to meet those people that's going to try to knock you off your pedestal because they don't like how you wear your crown. They don't like
Yeah.
how you wear your confidence. They don't like how they don't like how God created you to be.
Yep.
That's not my problem. That's your problem.
Yep.
And I would stop for a minute, or I just get in this place where I don't want to get out of bed, because someone has tested or someone has hit that feeling of mine where I feel like, what's the point? But I didn't come this far to stop. It may
Right.
not be the way they saw I was going to do or go after my end result. I'm going to still do me, but I'm just not going to do it in that manner. I'm going to switch
Right.
it up and change it around and do something different, but I'm going to still do me. I know my
Yeah.
lane. I'm gonna stay in my lane. That's all I can say. You know?
No, I said
That's
that. No,
it.
I had to learn how to feel things again. Well, be able to express that because I was in a place where if I would say that hurt my feelings, it's like you don't have feelings, you don't care, you this, you that. So I'm like, no, that hurt my feelings, and
Mhm.
for it to be taken as you don't have feelings or you're not that kind of person or you don't really care, you just putting on an act. So I became more of a cold to myself kind of person because it's like when I would express like that hurts or that upset me, it's like, yeah, okay, sure. And I'm like, what? So
Right.
just thing to, with the whole discovering, yourself and having to learn that it's okay to express emotion and that, feelings it matters. and just learning that whole thing. Because like I said, spending so many years of having everything bottled up, I'm talking like 9 years or so, where I couldn't express emotion without it being seen as that's not being real, or you're not really hurt, you don't get hurt. So all of that being spoken into me over and over, to where I'm just like, am I hurt? Is this what hurt is this what upset is?
Right.
Am I doing too much? Am I, and not even feeling that my feelings are even valid, because when it's put down so much, you don't even feel that you have valid feelings. So
Right.
I get and understand that. It's like, I'm not a heartless person, but when that's being spoken into you so much, or being told that you're evil or you're this, it's like, because I don't agree with you, now I'm evil. So those are
Right.
like all the things that were put into me. So now when I have an emotion, it's like, was this real emotion? Is this? So then I start second guessing me, to the point where I got, you know what? That's my feeling. That's what I have. Like, that's fine. It's okay to have that. It's
Right.
okay to feel
Right.
that. But just learning to, okay, well, now I'm ready to talk about this feeling that
Hmm.
I feel, or whatever. It's, without it being downplayed, because when you have that downplayed, you don't want to bring it up to anybody anymore, because you
Right.
go, just like, no, you don't, no, you're not, or you just doing too much. It's like, wow, okay, but you're supposed to validate everyone else's feelings, but okay, but mine's
Right.
is doing too much, but yours is cool. Like, what? Oh, no.
Well, I always say, when the person can identify how you feel, they typically don't know how they feel. So they can't identify with a feeling anyway while they tagging on how you feel.
Right,
So I'm like, I didn't go through this 5 or 6 years of counseling for this woman to tell me that it's 1,000 emotions out there, from happy, sad, glad, mad, angry. It's so many emotions. So when I'm speaking, and it's my whole life, it's always been identified with angry, mad, upset. That just didn't happen, last month. Whenever I do speak up, if it's not me laughing or joking, I'm typically a jokester, and more. Well, a lot of people don't know that about me because they don't get that close to me, because typically I'm just a serious, straight faced person. So
right.
when I do speak, and it's almost like, oh snap, it's going down, but and that's my feelings being hurt. You ain't seen, well, you probably seen me mad before. Mad and in my feelings are they about the same, but it's a difference. Like, I can identify when I'm mad. So when people confuse me being in my feelings hurt and say I'm mad, that makes me madder, because
Right,
now you're not even taking the time to identify, me. You just assuming this is what mad looks like to you.
right.
So I'm gonna put how I view how you're acting to a definition that I understand, and tell you this is how you feeling. That causes a whole nother issue with a person, because you really so quick to tell me what I'm feeling versus with telling me how I feel. Because if you told me, oh, your feelings hurt, then I'm like, well, you see, you're right, they hurt. They hurt, but you mad. You right. Now it's a whole, now I'm
Yeah,
mad. It's a
yeah,
whole, and that's just, it's the little small things. And a lot of people, if we can identify with feelings, and it's not easy to know what emotion you're actually having. So when
exactly.
someone else tell you you're mad and they're not inside of you, and they try to identify with how you feel, and they're wrong, and you say, well, that's not how I feel. Now you arguing because you're trying to express, this is how I feel. You're not hearing me. It's a dead
Right,
situation. Right.
right.
So I
So
totally get it. So
for
that's why I try to
you,
be straight up and blunt. Like, I'm hurt. My feelings hurt. My feelings, and most people know now that she probably got her feelings hurt. But then you'll see the mad. It's a whole totally different energy when I'm mad, because I'm trying to wreck house. I ain't no nothing is safe when I'm mad.
right.
So, and it's been a long time since I've been mad. I can say that.
Yeah.
There has been no furniture moving, I promise you. I have not moved no furniture around here. So I've been good.
That's good. I mean, yeah, that's good. I get the same way, where it's like, I'm not mad, but people take it as mad. I'm like, no. When I get mad, it's a whole
Mhm.
me, but and I understand that when people trying to tell you that's what you are, it's like no, or they're trying to put it into their definition. It's like, okay, that's how you define it. That's not what it is.
Right,
For
right.
you, how was it just starting off the journey to going to counseling and going through therapy, especially with the stigma that it gets in the Black culture?
Well, for me, it was really after my second suicide attempt. Um, because my dad was at my house and my kids, and when I try to use a gun with the second time. So to understand where I'm coming from, the gun kept jamming. Every time I would pull it, it would jam, it would jam. And when I would pull it straight up to the air, it would fire. So I
Oh,
end up, right. I said, how can you do this right? So, and for me, I put my family in danger. I put my neighbors in danger. It took me to a place where I realized that I had hit rock bottom because I really identified that I am nothing. No one cares about me. No one would care if I was living or dying. I just didn't feel like I didn't have a purpose. I always felt like I was a mistake anyway. So I was lucky to make it through because really, I was a mistake. And so the Army really gave me one or two choices, because they put me in the mental ward for 4 or 5 days. And I knew that I wasn't there yet. Like, institutionalized to be, and that opened my eyes. Well, you're gonna be here or you're gonna talk to somebody. You got to do something because this ain't gonna work. And it wasn't easy. My psychiatrist chased me around Augusta, like, where are you? Why are you not coming to your appointments? And I was raped in Iraq, so I'm a rape victim coming back. So the VA down there, it was a little different from the VA here, but just to get through the door, it's a whole bunch of men. They all veterans, they're a little older, but you got, them older men still don't,
yeah.
they cackling, hey, let me, I give you my whole check. And I'm trying to, it took me 30 minutes to get out my car.
Yeah, because they
And here
aggressive.
you are trying to spend your whole disability check on me. Like, so I go back to my car. I wouldn't even go, I just turn around and go back. So it took me about 6 months to a year to physics. So she ended up moving. They actually moved her out of the VA into a out location. And then that's how we was able to kind of start getting in there. And I didn't care about what the community or what they thought, because the community wasn't there for me. The Black women or the Black people or whatever, it was no one there for me. So I had to do what I had 2 kids. And it
Right.
was hard going to counseling. When I first started out, I was probably angrier. I was really angry in those times to have to repeat and talk about what I've been through and all this. When I left there, it took me about 3 or 4 days to get almost to that place where I feel okay. But
Right.
it was hard. I was angry. I stayed angry. And the counseling for me was repetitiveness. You had to repeat it over and over and over and over, because every time I said it, I was supposed to be able not to, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be, I'm sorry, my daughter Michaela and her little poops. Um, I wasn't supposed to, you're supposed to be able to say what you've been through without the crying. Because I used to couldn't talk about it without crying. And I'm talking
Right.
about boo-hoo crying. I couldn't get through it. I never thought I'd be at a point in my life where I could say, yeah, I was married twice. Yes, both my husbands tried to kill me. Yes, I was raped. Yes, I was molested. Yes, I could say those things almost like, but they didn't come easy. When I
Mm-hmm.
say it now, it still hit me in a way that's kind of like, it irritates me, because you still have to tell yourself to stand up and speak your truth and say what happened to you, and it's okay.
Yeah.
So that's what counseling did for me. But I wasn't healed when I left. I just, you know what? I can't do this no more. I just could not do it. I just could not do it anymore. So it was just, I just felt like, because what she did was, they typed everything up. So
Mm-hmm.
we don't realize when you're there talking and speaking, when you leave, they type it up, and now it's on, and in your records.
Yeah.
So when I was getting ready to get medically retired, I had to get my medical records. And when I read, oh my God, when I read, what I've been through on paper, that's when I realized I had to go through that process, because once I got to that point of healing, I could look back on and see where I came from, and I could be okay that you've been through that, you went through that, but that's not who you are. And look
Yeah.
at you now. Even if people don't know me or know my story, they could be on the other side looking like, oh, she just cook food, she just a cook. No, I did go to two culinary schools. Like, I
Exactly.
ain't just no cook. I did 14 years in the Army cooking. Like, this is my life. But there's more to me than that.
Right.
So, but you have to be in this type of setting, in this kind of space, legacy, to speak, and you have to want to speak. And if I went through 6 years of counseling with someone I didn't know, me speaking here with you is a form of counseling as well. So,
Yes.
and it's free.
Right.
And it's free, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay that I've been hurt. I'm okay I got scars. I'm okay I have bruises. I'm okay with I'm not perfect. I'm okay with I may not be what you think I should be, or I may not look how you think I should look, but I'll go to sleep at night, and I sleep well at night.
Exactly.
So here we are. you
Big
know.
difference. No, I think like with counseling, when I realized they keeping notes of everything, I'm like, okay, so you're trying to track me, like, so do you feel like you can't be completely open because it, like you said, it does follow you. It's in your records. Anybody that go through it can read the whole thing of what you've been talking about or what you've been through. So I'm like, so why am I telling you this if you're just going to share it with everyone else?
They
So
wrote my book for me.
basically, like, can I get that copy? I'm gonna go ahead and
I
put that
got
out.
it, and I
Get
just
it
said
for
that
me.
I'm thinking that now, like they already wrote it. It's right here, Prince. Like it's already typed out.
Yeah,
Just give somebody my
put your
give
name on
somebody
it,
my
submit.
notes from me laying on that couch. They gonna be like, girl, honey. She did the hard part, because it's definitely a book. It's
It's
thick. It's
Now I'm waiting for you to do that, to put it out there because you, like you're right, everyone see you as Chef Tish. Like
yeah.
Chef Tish, you can cook, you want some ribs, you want some cake, which I need another one. You want some cake, like, you can do all that. And they just think of you as that, but they don't see the fact that you're a veteran. Like they, like you said, a lot of times you said before on the show, they focus on the men. But you
Right.
also served, you've been deployed, you've been to Iraq, you fought, right
Right.
besides all of those things, and people don't know that about you. They just
Mm-mm.
like they give you your orders and that's it. Like, and they don't even know it's your business. You're
Right.
not the chef. It's
Right.
yours.
Right.
So I think like you putting that out, like they get to see more of you and understand how you got to where you are. And they can see, like I see how strong you are, even though you say you're not, how
Right.
strong you are. So I think you need to do that.
I tell, like John to tell you, when I leave the house, when I'm going to do an event, when it comes to food, I said, babe, all I want to do is sell one plate. That's all I want to do. That's all I ask for, because if I can sell one plate, then I know I can sell my food. I don't go for, I'm trying to sell out. I want one person to buy my plate and I'm happy. I'm good at that first plate. So I knew Zetra was coming, so I was already good, because you're going to buy your plate before I got there. So now I had to pray for, can I get somebody else besides Zetra to buy my plate?
I know. I was at
So,
the grocery store when I saw that. I was like, okay, let me just buy stuff for later. I'm gonna go ahead and get breakfast over here. So
oh yes, and I had to, like I said, I had to come out. Can no one else tell my story? No one else speak for me or talk for me? And I've had the platform a while now, and I appreciate you, because it's really about you and your book, to allow me to even be on here with you, to just share a little piece of me, because we go all night. I try to skip over certain things, and this is where I am today, and that's with all that pain and hurt, and I don't look like what I've been through. And I
yeah,
thank God for that. I definitely thank God for that. My body, on the other hand, yeah, it feels it. Like I tell John a lot, because I shattered my L5 in Iraq, which is your disc in your back. It was completely shattered. So I don't have it there. It's a little plastic piece, and I have to wear a brace. I didn't walk for a year. I was on a walker. I had to learn to walk again and do all that stuff again. So when I'm in that kitchen, I'm happy because I know that I was on this walker in the wheelchair, and they told me I probably wasn't gonna walk again, and I was going to need another surgery. And I'm like, no, I was at the time I was 36 years old. I'm like, no way that I'm 36 and I'm gonna be in this. No, it wasn't gonna happen. And at that point is when I finally said I have to fight, you know. And I'm 44 now, so. And I'm remarried. I married the love of my life. I know my kids are okay. They're doing what they got to do. I'm doing good. You know, I wish my family situation was a little different, but, you know, I take it for what it is. And I have a lot of people that's around me. Like, I'm not lacking a mom. I'm not lacking a sister. I'm not lacking a brother. I'm not lacking, you know, I still have those people that's like sister, brother, mother in my life. Which I would love to have my own, but you know, it don't work like that sometimes. But here we are. I'm still gonna do me. Tish is still here, and I'm happy.
I'm
regardless.
Happy too. So
Thank you.
Coming on and joining me and getting that out there and being transparent and just giving that a shot, because I know this is not easy. You probably was like, since I told you, probably like, oh my gosh, just waiting until the time comes, driving yourself crazy.
Right. I'm pacing back and forth. I'm like, John, do I need to change? Where do I need to go sit at? How do I need to go? Do I need to put the light on? What am I supposed to do? He's like, just go on live.
Because I sent the message like, are you ready? And I didn't get a reply. I'm like, oh my gosh, she doesn't stop. She ain't gonna do it. Like, she done talked herself out of it. What I'm gonna do?
No.
What I'm gonna do? Then you was like, yes. I was like,
I'm gonna do anything for you. I was probably in the bathroom I was taking my hair out a little ponytail. I was trying to make sure my face was halfway okay. You know, I should have brushed aside. You see what Kevin hooked me up on my haircut over here. Shaved it all off. So I appreciate it. I do. I love you to death, sis. I'm so proud of you. I want you to continue to push forward, and anything you need, I got you.
Thank you. And I definitely appreciate you and all that you have spoken into me and all that you have done and all the times you done whipped me into shape. And when I want to run, you done put some cement down like you ain't going nowhere. So I really like so much appreciate you. And thank you so much for doing. I know this was a big step for you. So I really appreciate you doing this.
Thank you, sis. Love you.
Love you too.
All right. Bye-bye. You got to hang up, right? Because I can't hang up.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Bye.